I am here to talk about one of the most. I'm here to talk about Eddie Guerrero and how he finally got the credit he deserved back in back in 2004 when he beat Brock Lesnar at No Way Out for the WWE Championship. Yeah, because that right there was him finally getting the credit he deserved, which was the WWE Championship. And Eddie Guerrero should have been a world champion a long time ago, long before the new millennium. He should have been WCW champion or ECW champion. Or he should have even won the WWE championship just a year after being there. Because he was a technical wrestler. He had the technique. And it wasn't just Eddie Guerrero, it was also Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Dean Malenko. Those four guys were a whole lot better than The Rock and Triple H will ever be. Because both of those guys had everything handed to them. Of course, The Rock because he's part of the Samoan wrestling family and because of his dad Rocky Johnson. That's the whole reason why he had everything handed to him, and that's why he held the WWE title right away. And Triple H because he married into the company. He married Stephanie McMahon, and that's the reason why Triple H has everything he has right now. But the four guys that I just mentioned, those guys were 10 times better, and it took them a long time because The Rock only decided to be a professional wrestler after his football career didn't work, which was when he was 25, and those guys decided that they wanted to be professional wrestlers from the age of 18 to 20. They always knew that. And Eddie Guerrero every day was in the ring in his backyard. He practiced every day. By the age of 3, he already knew how to drop kick. And that he was in there every day. And he is also comes from a famous wrestling family, starting with his dad, Gory Guerrero, and his brothers. And it was Gory Guerrero that raised the bar for Mexican wrestling. And he was one of the best. And he is the creator of a whole bunch of moves. And that's another thing that Eddie Guerrero has, is that he has a whole bunch of moves. And The Rock and Triple H, they just know a couple of basic moves. They just have little moves, and they only know a little bit of moves. But at least Eddie Guerrero, since he had to work his ass to get his name by going to Mexico and New Japan, at least he has more belts hanging on his wall than Triple H and The Rock, because they only have the belts they won in WWE hanging on their walls. And those four guys have more belts hanging on their walls because they had to get their names out there by going to work international. And I think that's one of the reasons. I think that's one of the things that could have saved WCW if Eddie Guerrero had gotten the recognition he deserved. Because Eric Bischoff just making it about the big guys, and the NWO is one of the things that made WCW go down into the ground. So then finally in 2004, Eddie Guerrero gets the recognition he deserves by winning the WWE Championship, the one piece he was missing from the puzzle, because before that, he had already held all of the other titles, which was the European Intercontinental Tag Team and United States. And then he finally got to add that one to the puzzle. And before he died, he was going to win the World Heavyweight Championship so that Batista could take time off to heal his back. And he was intended to, but since they didn't know that he was going to die when he did, So that's why they thought that they could just let time fly. They thought he was gonna be alive, and that's why he didn't make it. And I think that that was one of the things that WWE regrets, because he was going to win the World Heavyweight title, and Eddie Guerrero deserved the big gold belt and a second world title. He did deserve it. He deserved all of that. And I think that he was, because the McMahons even say that a Guerrero always has a job in WWE, because because they know what the Guerreros have done, and they love the Guerreros, the McMahons. And that's why I think that's why they shouldn't. That's why the whole reason why. That's the whole reason why, and that was good that he finally got the recognition he deserved.